So why don't we dive in? Let's do our very first thing. Let's make an extract. So this is for all you new people.
Yes, our newbies. We do this at the very beginning. It takes, I don't know,
Not even 10 minutes.
A few minutes.
Not even 10 minutes.
That's
okay.
right.
So let's get all the ingredients. So it's going to be our very first long-term, 1-year-long tequila extract that we'll be making. And so to make, this is going to be a very simple extract. We've got two things. One, we have Don Julio. It's a reposado tequila, and we're going to talk about what that means in just a few more minutes, but it's a darker tequila that we'll be using, which is very soft and smooth and a great tequila to choose for extract. And then, since this is a vanilla extract that is going to be made with tequila, we had to use Mexican
beans.
Vanilla beans.
Yes.
And so the Mexican vanilla beans, as many of you know, they're a little spicier. They have kind of a spicy vanilla kick. And we think that since they're grown in the same region and in the same soil, then let's mix, tequila with Mexican beans.
There's a hint of cocoa. Every time
Yes.
I smell it, it's actually my favorite bean. I love the Mexican beans. So, when you get your beans in the mail, bean day is like the most exciting day, right?
When those
like,
beans show up.
You have to wait forever for them, right? So
So-
here we are. We're going to open these babies up.
Let's open them up. And then the first thing we do is we enjoy every minute of opening them. So you smell them. And if those of you who have had our Mexican beans, they are absolutely wonderful. There's kind of that spicy kick. But the first thing you get is bold vanilla. It's a really strong, powerful. This is where almost every vanilla bean in the world originated, was in Mexico.
Yep.
So this is where it all came from. And then there is a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of kind of a mocha coffee. And so we've got them here. What else do we have? Go ahead.
These are beautiful. They are big. They are plump. They are lovely. And oftentimes this is exactly how they come. But sometimes they come a little shorter.
Sometimes they can be a little shorter, sometimes they're a little longer, which is why you always weigh them before you use them.
And we always sell by the weight. So if we get beans from a harvest that are slightly smaller, it's okay because you're still getting the same amount of beans.
No matter what. And that's the way it should be, so you know you're putting the exact right quantity of ingredients in with the spirits.
Okay, so what do you do with these beans? Well, you can slice them open or you can tie them in a knot. I'm going to tie a few in a knot so I can save the caviar on the inside.
And we tie them in a knot just to make sure that when we put them in the bottle, that they're fully submerged. We're trying to shorten them without cutting them. When you cut them, all of that caviar inside is exposed. Some people like the speckles inside the extract, some people don't.
I love it. It adds just that extra, just homemade, pure look of the vanilla. So I like to do both. I can use the caviar, and then I'll split some open. I'll cut it right down the middle, just like this, and then I cut it in half, just like that. And then I know all that caviar, all those yummy specks, they're going to come through. Whoops.
They're all going to come right through.
Yeah.
In fact, we actually, making the eggnog today, we use one of the vanilla beans that we had for extracting, that we left whole. We pulled it out, and we wanted all those little speckles inside the eggnog, and so we used a Mexican bean that had previously been used for extraction that we didn't cut because we preserved that caviar.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that here in a minute.
Okay.
So tie them in a knot.
So this would have gone faster if we didn't talk so much.
I know. We're talkers. Sorry.
Okay, and one last one. I'm just going to cut it in half. Okay, you want to open that one?
Yep. So then you take your
Oh my
tequila.
gosh, my fingers smell so fun.
Oh, the fingers smell great. And then, very simply, you take your tequila. So again, the Don Julio Reposado. And we use a little funnel, a stainless steel funnel, just to kind of control the mess.
It makes it a lot easier. And this is 8 ounces. Okay, so it is 1 ounce of beans per 8 ounces of spirit. And this glass is already, we know, 8 ounces, so we just have to fill it.
That's all we have to do. So if you get an 8-ounce glass and you buy 1 ounces of beans, you put all the beans in the glass, fill it up, and
you just put the top on.
Top it off.
And then when it's ready, this is how I use it, I take the top off and I put my spout on because we use so much of it. It's just easier to have a spout ready to go so I can pour as is, and it makes it very convenient. Was that hard?
Super easy. So the last thing you do is you put a label on it. We don't have a label here. We have labels on our website. If you just search for labels, we have some free downloads if you want to use those. But you'll just put your little label on it, make sure you date it, and you note the content. So in this case, it would be Mexican vanilla beans with Don Julio Reposado tequila, and then we'll put the date that we put on, November 21st, 2021, and there it is. How beautiful is that?
For our newbies, you can do that, right?
You can do that.
Can you not do that? Easy peasy.
And that is how it begins.
That's the beginning of the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. That is the beginning of the rabbit hole. So buckle up. That is how it begins. Here we go. Let's see. So Jennifer Thomas, I just saw your post. We love Jennifer. She's been with us from the very beginning. Thought I'd actually get to watch a whole video for you live for once, but Sticky Kiddos discovered I'm watching my first. You're go, no problem, Jennifer. Take care of those kiddos. We love that you're here and that you checked in. Yes, the spout. We love the spout. Every bottle pours a little differently, and so having a spout just made it, and you know, we're all about not wasting a drop of this stuff once you make it. And so having a nice little spout to pour it just made it so none of it ever went to waste.
Yeah, and it's just super convenient too. You can just in the morning pour a little in your coffee or your tea, and then just put the cap back on. They call it a dust cap, but you know, because it is alcohol, it can evaporate, so you just have that little cap on. I actually just keep it over here with on my counter, just to use pretty much with everything.
Totally. We use it pretty aggressively. Someone asked about storage. We store these in a cool, dark place away from sunlight. You don't want the sun to hit it directly. We use clear bottles instead of amber bottles. Some people use amber bottles just to keep the UV rays out. We like clear bottles because we like watching it extract. But just keep it in a cool, dark place and just leave it alone for a year.
Yeah. But once it's ready to go, I just leave it over here on my counter so I can use it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's it. 1, 2, 3. Easy to go. And we have a ton of other tutorials with different kinds of beans, different kinds of spirits, more complicated extracts where we use nutmeg and star anise and other things. You just search for it on the website and our blog. You'll find it. Enjoy. Have fun making your first extract. That's how it begins. I would also say, if it's your first time, instead of making just like one big extract, make 2 or 3 little extracts, maybe with different spirits. So after you've waited a year, you can do a taste test and you can see what you like more than the other. Like nothing's worse than waiting a whole year and you try it and you're like, well, I really like this. I wonder what would have happened if I would have used a bourbon. Or I wonder what would have happened if I used a tequila or a vodka or a rum.
Yeah.
And so make 2 or 3 on your very first go. That way a year from now, you'll have a lot of them that you can try to really zero in on what you like.
Yeah, that's why I start with smaller ones sometimes if I'm experimenting. I start with a smaller, you know, maybe just 1 ounce instead of going to a bigger bottle, just to kind of get an idea. Madagascar and vodka is like the safest option you can. So if you want to make a bunch, we would suggest Madagascar and vodka.
Madagascar vodka. Once the extract is done, how do you get the beans out? There's a number of ways. One, if you used an open bottle, you can just reach in and grab them with your fingers. There are tweezers that you can buy if you have a small neck bottle like this. You can get them like on Amazon and they go way down and you can pull the beans out one at a time. Some people just like to leave the beans in the bottle the whole time, which you can do. And then others take them out, just pour the bottle through a strainer. It catches the beans, catches a lot of the caviar. Then your extract bottle's cleared, no more beans. And then take those beans and put them into like your mother jar or dry them and make powder, vanilla bean paste, or whatever else you want to make.
And in this jar, they'll come out really easy. You just shake them out, they come right out.
And yes, it does stay closed for a year. Let's see, is it Sparkle that asked that question? It does, but most people don't have the strength to like wait a year like us. And so we always like make a little, you know, pilgrimage to our extract room, and we have to open them up and smell them and see how they're progressing. So no.
We try it out. We do a little test taste because sometimes you wonder, you know that a year is pretty safe with rums and vodkas. So, you know, is 11 months okay? So sometimes we'll go in and we'll check it at 11 months. We've checked it at 9 months before, and it's delicious. So
we've had them as early as 6 months on some of them where we were okay with the Madagascar vodka that we had split open.
You never know, so just you have to try it out.
You have to try it out.